Hi, I'm Rich Pearl with the Washington State University Extension Energy Program. We all want our homes to be safe and comfortable for ourselves and our families. No matter what kind of heating, ventilation, air conditioning system you have, you can save money, save energy, and increase comfort by properly maintaining and upgrading these systems. Heating and cooling account for the lion's share of energy use in our homes, more than 40% of total usage for the typical homeowner. What's more, producing the energy for all these systems contributes to global warming, emitting about 150 million tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere each year in the U.S. alone. Here in the Pacific Northwest, more than half the homes use forced air heating or cooling. This consists of a system of air ducts to circulate heated and cooled air throughout the house. Most of us don't give our ducts much thought. They are out of sight, out of mind, usually hidden in a crawl space or attic. However, careful studies have shown that in the majority of homes, these systems are not airtight and often leak large amounts of air. That means you're losing air to the outside that you've already paid to heat or cool. The more these ducts leak, the longer a furnace or air conditioner has to run to maintain comfort. And this means higher utility bills year in and year out. Furthermore, these air leaks can actually cause some serious indoor air quality problems by allowing unwanted contaminants to gain entry from the outside. In this video, we're going to focus on how to stop wasting money and energy in homes that use air ducts for heating and cooling. By properly sealing these ducts, your living space will not only be more comfortable and efficient, but also safer and more pleasant in terms of indoor air quality. Your home's air duct system generally consists of a network of tubes circulating air at a comfortable temperature around and around the house. During the winter, supply ducts deliver heated air from the furnace out of the registers and into each room. Cool air from the rooms is drawn back to the furnace for reheating through the return duct system. Duct systems are usually made out of sheet metal, flexible plastic, or fiberglass panels. Fabrication of these systems in cramped and difficult work areas, like attics and crawl spaces, can often result in some poor workmanship, resulting in unwanted and wasteful air leaks. We're into the house in this crawl space with Mark from the Opportunity Council here in Bellingham. He's going to give us an inspection of the heating ducts in this crawl space.
All right, well, I guess we could start with one of the flex branch supplies. What we have here is 6-inch insulated flex duct, not personally preferred by me. You've got your supports here, your correct support duct strapping, and intermittently we have wires that seem to have been an afterthought in the whole process. Something Rich was pointing out earlier is that we've got a lot of sag in our lines here. This one that we're looking at isn't really quite that bad. You look down the line and you've got a good 6 inches of sag down there. We come down here and we've got our connection with our 6-inch collar to approximately a 12-inch rigid trunk that extends the whole length of the house, connecting to your branches, which connect to the boots, where we get our interior heat. Our primary connection here to the main trunk is our collar, which, let's see here, we've got, well, duct tape and 2 mechanical fasteners, which, as you can see, in the past 30 years have failed miserably.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a Panduit strap that has failed. It's come off. No mechanical fasteners were sent through your flex into the rigid, so this is inevitably what's going to happen there. You're heating the crawl space, and the rats are loving you for it. Going on down the line, here we have these tabs. You're supposed to give it somewhat of a tight connection, but it's definitely not ultimately a good sealing measure here. So what the plan is with these tabs, I'm going to pull those in, put some more fasteners in there, some mesh tape and mastic, and that's going to give us a pretty darn good seal. Wrap that with MBI, tape it, and twine it, and that's definitely going to be a very, very good air sealing / insulation measure. What we've got here is a big health and safety issue, is fiberglass in your duct system, and a great thoroughfare for rodentia.
Here's another indoor air quality issue with this house. We've got fiberglass insulation, and here's one of our disconnected ducts, and you can see we've got lots of rat droppings right next to these air leaks. Obviously, when the system isn't running, air can move into the house from the crawl space, carrying these potential contaminants with it. Using this chemical smoke, we're going to check this leak just to get an idea of how much air we might be losing out of the duct system. You can see that a small hole moves a lot of air. In fact, studies indicate that a 1 square inch hole in a supply duct may result in the same heat loss as a 20 square inch hole through the side of your house. For homes where the ductwork is contained within the insulated building enclosure, the energy loss from duct leaks is generally not a big problem. The ducts are leaking to the inside of the home, not to the outside. However, in unheated attics, crawl spaces, basements, or garages, air leaks mean heat escapes to the great outdoors, adding up to as much as an additional 10 to 40% increase in energy usage. We're immediately beneath the furnace that's mounted upstairs, and this is the supply plenum. It's under the most pressure, has the hottest air in the heating system, and then that's connected to this trunk duct that delivers the air down to the branch ducts that terminate in the rooms. And any leaks here, of course, are the most important because that's the hottest air. And you can see that they've done some sealing here, but it's not fully effective. This is also not insulated. The heat loss from the ducts somewhat protects these pipes from freezing. When we insulate and seal the ducts, these might be subject to freezing in a vented crawl space. So we'd want to protect those with insulation and possibly some electric heat tape that's thermostatically controlled to keep these from bursting during cold weather.
Well, we're going to rip out all of this. We're going to stick R19, which the specs, they call out for R8, which, in my opinion, should be changed. It's just
so more insulation is better.
More insulation and correctly placed insulation using twine. The MBI has kind of a poly coating around it, which is another protective measure for the insulation itself. And we'll wrap that up not too snugly. We don't want to compress the R value. We want to lower that at all, but we definitely want it to not be able to move. We don't want gravity to take advantage of that.
So I think what you're saying, Mark, is you're going to add more insulation than what's required today,
yes,
because you don't want to come back and do this later.
Exactly, yeah.
Here's a few simple rules for permanent airtight ducts. Rule number 1, never use duct tape. Even high-dollar, high-quality duct tape is going to fail. It's just a matter of when. So never use duct tape. Professionals recommend this duct mastic, UL 181 listed duct mastic. It makes a permanent airtight seal that actually works like an adhesive. This adhesive ought to be put on nickel thick. So it ought to be put on thick on every joint. When joining two pieces of duct together, you'll need to use 3 metal fasteners, mechanical fasteners. Those will be put in all the way around the duct, and then the duct mastic applied in nickel thick around this joint, this joint, this joint, and you can see where we've done it on this joint. All these side joints as well need to be sealed. For larger holes, such as this penetration here, we would use a fiberglass mesh and then seal that with the mastic. The duct mastic is easy to apply. You can brush it on with a brush. You can use a putty knife or a trowel and trowel it on the joints. Or my favorite way is just with rubber gloves and put it on nickel thick. So we've got consistency of basically mashed potatoes. We work it into the joint. We get all the joints permanently sealed nickel thick. Flexible ducts are fairly common in newer or remodeled homes. These also need to be sealed with mastic and mechanical fasteners. Attaching flexible duct to metal connections is simple, and it's easy to ensure an airtight system. First, start by applying a generous layer of UL 181 mastic on the metal duct. Slide the inner plastic liner of the flexible duct over the mastic. Secure with a zip tie. Once the mastic sets up, a permanent seal is established. Pull insulation and outer liner over the inner connection. Secure mechanically with a zip tie. Mastic at this connection is not required. The inner seal is critical. Today there are many choices for highly efficient furnaces and heat pumps. And of course this equipment is always a great choice when it comes time to upgrade your older system. However, before you invest in that 95% efficient furnace or top-rated heat pump, make sure you're not connecting this expensive, high-tech equipment to leaking air ducts. When you think about it, this is sort of like buying an ENERGY STAR certified refrigerator and then leaving the door open. Properly sealing and insulating your ducts costs far less than a new furnace and may actually have more of an impact on your energy bills. And if you have leaky ducts, sealing them first may actually allow you to get by with a smaller, less expensive new unit. Sure, duct sealing isn't as glamorous as shiny, new equipment you can see, but it should be the first and often least expensive step to making your home more energy efficient and lowering your utility bills. For a typical home with ducts in the attic, crawl space, or routed through a garage, an experienced crew can thoroughly seal and insulate both the supply and return duct systems in less than a day. Since the average forced air system often loses between 10 and 40% of its energy efficiency through air leaks, this is a highly cost-effective way to increase comfort while reducing your heating bill and safeguarding indoor air quality. In general, large-scale duct sealing in unconditioned spaces should be done by licensed and bonded professionals, but minor duct repairs are easy to do yourself. Before beginning work, you'll want to make sure that asbestos is not a problem. Asbestos exposure is a serious health issue. Prior to about 1980, asbestos tape or fabric was often used to seal or cover ductwork. Asbestos may also be hidden, especially in situations where wooden floor joists were enclosed or panned with metal sheeting to create a return air plenum. If you suspect asbestos, contact your local health department to find out which agency in your area regulates asbestos removal. Contact that agency for information on how to safely do the removal yourself or for a list of certified asbestos contractors. Something else that's very important to consider when your air handling equipment is in a closed space like this one, when this system operates, the fan can pull air in the return system, such as this, which potentially could backdraft this water heater that's gas powered. These fumes can get into the air handling system and be delivered to the house, creating a potentially serious indoor air quality problem. Paints, cleaners, solvents, and other potentially hazardous materials should also not be stored with air handling equipment in enclosed spaces like closets and garages. The only way to definitely determine whether your duct system is airtight is to do a duct pressure test. But please note it is rarely cost-effective to pay for this test by itself, unless it is part of a comprehensive home evaluation or energy audit. Testing alone does not repair leaks, and duct sealing will most likely be called for anyway. To do the test, all exterior doors and windows are closed. A technician uses a blower door to suck air out of the house, creating a slight vacuum in the sealed home. This slight vacuum causes outside air to be drawn in through all openings to the outside, and the air pressure at each register is measured. If the ducts are airtight, little or no airflow will be detected. Large amounts of air indicate leaks in the duct system. Additional testing using a duct blower to pressurize the system can accurately measure the exact amount of leakage to the outdoors. Whether or not you decide to test, sealing and insulating leaky ducts is always cost-effective. The rule is to always air seal before adding insulation.
That's the thing, you know, you can invest a great amount in insulating your home, air sealing your home, and creating healthy measures for your home, but you can't really see it. So it's
so
easy.
This is out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
People can see their fancy new windows and their weather stripping and the high efficiency furnace, but they don't
right.
see this Basically, that's a huge leak in your energy bill.
Yeah, yeah, you can install all the compact fluorescent light bulbs in the world in your house and still you're pumping hot air into the crawl space or in the attic or literally outside of the envelope.
Remember, properly sealing and insulating your air ducts is one of the #1 ways to save energy, money, and provide comfort. On behalf of the Washington State University Extension Energy Program, I'm Rich Prill. Thanks for watching.